Have you ever found yourself having an existential crisis in a bathroom at McDonald's? So when I was 15 years old, my mom came to me one day and said, "Gabe, you need to get a job." But what she meant to say was, "Gabe, I got you a job." And about a week later, I started working for a man I called Mr. Rick, who ran a birthday party business. We were in a small town, and he was the go-to guy if you wanted your kid to have a bouncy castle party. And Mr. Rick was a cool dude. He showed me all the ins and outs of the bouncy castle empire that he was building. And by adding me to the team, he literally doubled his party productivity, as now he could drop me off at one trailer park to do a party, and then he could go to the trailer park up the road and do another one. So there I am, 15 years old, pretending to have any idea what I'm doing, and adults are asking me various things about whichever bouncy house, castle, or slide that they ordered for little Timmy's birthday, and I'm just making stuff up and hoping they don't ask anything too specific. Like, yeah, I'm sure the little camping stakes anchoring this thing to the ground will prevent it from blowing over and tumbling down the hill. One of my favorite things was when someone would run around behind the thing and trip over the extension cord which shut off the blower. The castle would immediately deflate and collapse on like 14 8-year-olds who are all screaming in terror as their parents rush in and try to fish them out. It's what I imagine Rome looked like in its final days. Then, I would just casually walk around the chaos and plug the blower back in and strut back to the front like a hero. So I did that for a while, and it was pretty fun. I got to make a little money, work on my backflips, and basically be king of the castle as I controlled who got in and who got out. Honestly, I was probably not ready for that kind of power. But anyway, after doing that for a little bit, Mr. Rick decided it was time to expand our party options. So he gave me a big box of balloons and a book on how to make balloon animals. So then I would run the bouncy castles and try to make whatever animals these hoodlums could come up with. I was really good at making worms and snakes and sticks, especially sticks. I could do a pretty good dog too, but any other animal is basically just a dog in a different color. Oh, you want a tiger? No problem. Here's a dog-looking thing with an orange balloon. But I would go the extra mile. I would Sharpie some stripes on that thing. After doing that for a while, Mr. Rick decided it was time to go above and beyond, and one day brought in this huge cardboard box. He had a twinkle in his eye and a sly grin like, "These kids running around here with their mullets and their rat tails and their Walmart Blackfoot, they're not going to know what hit them." I opened up the box and it was a costume. It was Blue from Blue's Clues, and it was this thick fleece onesie with big old feet and a massive head. And so I started going to parties dressed as Blue, and I learned how to make all those weird barking-esque noises that Blue would make. But here's the thing. I'm from Alabama, where you only wear fleece like 4 days out of the year. So there I am, in 103-degree weather, just sweating to death in this costume. And it wasn't like the new ones they have now with a fan inside the head. No, I'm just flirting with a heat stroke for hours on end. And even when I would take a break, I couldn't take the head off because it would freak the kids out. "Ah, you killed Blue," they would say as they ran away in terror. So I would literally have to walk around to the other side of the house to be able to get some oxygen. And don't even get me started about the process of using the bathroom while wearing that thing. It's probably a good thing I was always desperately dehydrated. So I did that for a while, and it was fine. I got to be goofy and mess with people, and I can definitely see why people want to be mascots for sports teams and car dealerships. Then one day, Mr. Rick tossed me a box, and he had that same sly grin. It was time for me to become a superhero, he said. So I opened the box, and it was a Spider-Man costume, and I remember thinking, okay, this is way better than Blue's Clues. And even though the costume was made out of some weird, scratchy fabric, at least it wasn't fleece. But then I tried the suit on and realized that Mr. Rick definitely got this thing out of the bargain bin. The suit fit fine on most of my body, but it bunched up a good bit at my ankles and my wrists. And then it fit well at my waist, but it was super tight across the crotch, which is exactly what any 15-year-old boy is hoping for. So then I would go to birthday parties and disappoint children. See, kids aren't exactly the brightest people in the world, and when I walked through the door, they would erupt thinking the actual Spider-Man had entered the building. And they would run over and be like, "Spider-Man, climb the wall!" And I'd be like, Spider-Man hurt his back fighting Dr. Octopus." Then they'd say, "Spider-Man, pick up the car!" And I'd be like, would you like a balloon animal?" Then, inevitably, there would be older kids at the party that were the cousins or siblings of the birthday boy, and of course they would be the cute girls and popular dudes I went to high school with. So I would speak in a deeper voice and just pray they didn't realize who I was or notice how tight my pants were. But after doing that for a while, I remember one night I was at this birthday party at McDonald's, and I was just ruining these kids' perception of their favorite superhero. And I took a break, and I went into the bathroom, and I took the mask off, and I was just staring at myself in the mirror. And I remember thinking, what are you doing with your life? I was 15 and having an existential crisis in a McDonald's bathroom, and anyway, I quit not too long after that. It wasn't a bad job or anything, but eventually you get to a point where you have to take the mask off and pursue something more worthwhile. And looking back, I was glad to learn that lesson at 15. Lord knows I've had to come back to that idea over and over and over again. Some masks feel really good, but who am I really? What do I actually think is important or worth pursuing? Then, I'm right back in that McDonald's bathroom, just trying to figure out who I really am and live true to that. And I don't know what you've got going on right now, but if you're wearing a mask, maybe it's time to take it off. And I bet there's a McDonald's near you, so maybe it's time to have a conversation, just you in the mirror. But anyway, that was my first job experience. Please tell me about yours in the comments. Thanks for stopping by, and I hope to see you again real soon.